cases, they wanted to believe that they had made contact with their gods, who supposedly were guiding them to do what they did. Here again is the difference between those who wanted to be like the flower children and the real universal guides. Very few, if any, of these in the so-called documented history of the Bible and other works ever reached or made contact with the true reality, the all is. As one becomes more awake, instead of clinging to the peaceful and pretty ideas, they will take part in this world as long as they have a body here. The spiritual idea is mainly a passive notion for people with what their gods decide, and that mankind has always decided what his gods will decide for him. That's what what do you think about that, Tim?
Yeah, thanks for reading that over, Lila. Well, it sounds like the past, the way the saints were, like they were saying, like Dwayne was writing, that they had their attention on the fluid invisible. It's just an interesting way to describe how their attention was, and that they weren't taking part in the outer life compared to just being in a cave or something, meditating or being to themselves and not being involved with other people. It kind of sounds like to me, and that we're trying to be active and helpful to share this new presentation, to let others know and find out for themselves by testing the New You sessions and reading the Adventure Is books, like you're reading book 6 right now, so that everybody can find out for themselves what the words are giving us hints to. Because we need the real guidance to understand what the words mean too, to get the real education.
That's really true. This is what the guides really do for us, and they help us and see each one and each problem, and they guide us. They really do. The real guides are real. The real guides live in the real light of the all is, not the shadowy, pale, reflective light of the space gods, the gods of man. These great beings do not agree and argue, and they worship or pray or accept the postulates and rules and commandments of old and outdated doctrines for anyone who has brought them forth. One of the longest running movies on TV is The Greatest Story Ever Told. And that's all it is. Just a story. A story that sounds good. It's an emotional rhetoric of view, just like Mel Gibson's movie The Passion. These are visual productions for the masses to become sympathetically attached to, instead of seeking out the real truth and the real freedom. Those who came to this earth many years ago had their time, but the new nowness of the is supersedes all historic events and people. The church, the rep systems, along with the political and movie producers, have built upon an old story that gets the crowd to cry and to roar. But it will ever provide them with real freedom, will it? No, never will it. But these things and many more deceptions like them will keep most people unaware and asleep for many more lifetimes of the same laws to political obedience. The masses are always into cheap phenomena, and the stranger it is, the more they like it. It must be some kind of thrill to see a man carry a cross that is his grave marker, then thorns on the head bleeding. There will come a time when the tides will turn and the rough systems will be exposed for the circus that they have been invented. In the meantime, all the unaware souls who are searching for the true reality will have to wait and even hope that they will recognize the real guides this time, or they will once again be lost among the dreariness as they continue their experiences on this dust bowl. Well, what have you got to say about that? Because it's running kind of late here tonight.
Well, Lila, you mentioned about the stories, the passion and the greatest story ever told. It reminds me of this Indian fellow I was listening to, and what he said was the problem we have here in the United States is that we don't share the same story, or we don't have the same history. Everybody's got a different storyline that they're following or seeing. So if we were to share the same story or history, we'd be more unified. There'd be better support for each other. Well, this is cool in its own way, but what we're presenting, there is really no story. There's no creation story. There's no, basically it's everybody's sharing their own story individually, and we're using those as references for ourselves and others to wake up to. So it's like the stories that we tell each other, the experiences we have on the real side and in the physical, they're used as references for us to help us wake up. So that's, in a sense, our story is everybody's story. We're just sharing, everybody's sharing their story, and with that true intent and sincerity, then there's the story is a reference for us to help us to wake up.
Oh, that's fabulous. You always come around with such a wonderful ending and give us an insight of who we are and what our goals really are, the real goals that we have, not just the shallow ones. We begin to see how we're entertained, and behind that entertainment, there's something real, and that's where an aware person gets excited and finds out what's really going on here. Because if you can see behind all the entertainment, why are they like that? Why, like a child? Why? I think you'll find out one day. Okay, Tim, you have any last words here?
Yeah, all right, Lila. I liked to hear that part that when there will come a time when the religions will be exposed for the circus they are. And I was thinking about it and how if people became aware of the new presentation compared to the religions of this world, how different it would be.
It sure would be a different world, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to imagine how different.
It would be, yeah. That's right. Be like everybody dreams of heaven. That's the way let's go to heaven. Everybody will love each other. Well, you can do so right here and now, if you're just really get in tune and with touch with what's going on here, and do your new you, sing your appreciation and your love for the whole all is, instead of for yourself, and show yourself off and all the silly things that we do. If we just can turn the corner and just love, just give thanks for where we are and for all that we have and are given, just start with that. And I think and really keep an eye out on what's really real. What's behind all this baloney that we're hearing on all around us. Anyway, this is a good midnight story. Maybe we'll get some answers in our dreams. The guides can do that, really give us answers if we ask. You first must ask. Okay, good night all. And until next time, let's do a cue and give thanks.
New.
Good night all, and happy dreams. Until
good
next
night.
time.
Happy dreams.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.
We'll see you.
Bye.
All right.